Very good. Okay, so we're here to tell you about the Stageco Arena Lift, which has been developed this year, which has been a great innovation for Stageco to introduce to the marketplace, which we're very proud of. What is the Arena Lift? It is a hydraulic lifting system which allows large-scale ground support truss systems to be built at ground level and then raised to increase the rigging capacity of an indoor venue. That's what it's been developed to do. It was in response to a specific request from a client who came to Stageco to talk about taking shows into venues that couldn't accommodate the rigging capacity that was required. And they're drinking over here in the background, so great. So Dirk was involved in the first conversations with the client, and they came and requested a system that meant they could rig in these venues. Dirk, maybe you want to take over there and explain.
Yeah, the initial brief was that the venues they wanted to use, they were for like a normal, well, what they call the normal loading door, which is basically a square opening of 2.5 by 2.5 meters. They identified about, I believe, 70 venues in the world that they can use that have limited capacity and limited access. So the system was developed so that it can be built without the use of any heavy equipment, machinery that is, and is raised from the ground up.
So traditionally, a mother grid, a ground support of this nature, would have to be built using a crane, which has been Stageco's modus operandi for many years in stadia, outdoor festival venues. So it required a new way of thinking. How are we going to create this mother grid in an indoor venue without the use of cranes? Because obviously that not being possible to go through a roof. So what Dirk and Stageco have done is look at what was in the marketplace already and worked very closely with hydraulic lifting experts whose really expertise was in the construction industry, where precise hydraulic movements is required in sensitive constructions. So they've looked to adapt that technology and bring it into the touring marketplace, and that, which obviously means it has to be transportable, it has to be robust enough to be moved by touring crew who aren't known for their delicate handling of staging equipment and rigging equipment, and it needs to be relatively simple to use as well. So it required a new solution, and that's what the Arena Lift has given us. The Arena Lift brings several advantages to the as a result of approaching the different thinking. One advantage is in terms of the speed of build that it brings, and maybe you can talk about that a little bit, Dirk.
It improves the speed of build. For a construction of this side, we can basically set it up in between 10 to 12 hours, make it ready for the production to load in. A second advantage is enhanced safety. This is on 2 levels. The first level is everything is built on ground level, and the second level of safety that is built in is the computerized control of the whole system, which means that the 4 corners of the structure, they are lifted within a limit of 10 millimeters difference between each of the 4 corners. The next thing we have there is the access to the venues. As I said before, is a 2.5 meter by 2.5 meter door that we need to be able to drive the lifting units through. And then the next one, yeah. So the commercial benefits, they are quite clear, as this opens up a whole lot of venues that up to this moment were not being used for shows or concerts.
So clearly the commercial benefits for a promoter that have now got anywhere between 30 to 70 venues they can now take their shows to, into new territories, which in the case of the client that Stageco have been working with very closely, Cirque, where they may be going in for, Cirque du Soleil may have a show that will run for 7 to 10 days. Well, if you multiply that by the shows that they have and then that many venues, you can clearly see that there's a very large economic impact, and extending the life of each of their shows that they can take to new audiences across the world. So that's very exciting for them. I think that looking at the commercial aspects of it, it was very important for Stageco that the system was fully compatible with all of Stageco's existing stage and mother grid and tower systems. So what we've actually developed here are the four corner pieces, the four legs, if you like, the hydraulic lifts, but they are fully compatible with Stageco's existing equipment. So in terms of commercial use, that was also very important in terms of the level of investment required. I think probably the final sort of thing to talk about maybe is the software that's been brought in that we talked about. Obviously there are sensors on each of the legs that mean, in terms of the safety of the lift while it's going up, if they go out of a 5 to 10 millimeter tolerance across the four legs, the system automatically stops, and that's controlled by one computer. And again, that software has been developed with Stageco specifically to take on tour. There's a laptop that's robust, it's tourable, but also it is a system that is manageable and usable by Stageco's crew chiefs as they're out on tour. So it's again important that it's user friendly and can be taken on tour. And I think that kind of sums up the various advantages of the arena lift, which has made a lot of difference to proved very successful, and we've had a lot of good feedback on it since March this year.